evaluation for Toastmasters.
So timings will be 2 to 3 minutes. So coming to Mamta's speech, and it was very energetic, to say the least. The enthusiastic introduction that you gave while walking to and fro got my attention, and I missed a few points in the starting because of that. So, pardon on that part. But highly energetic speech, and it was very relevant to most of us, as we can see how our life was turning during those school years, and then how the college went, and everything was going in front of our eyes, at least in front of my eyes. And coming to, I will keep my evaluation a bit short because I did not, I was very indulged in the speech, so I forgot to write most of it. So the stage use can be a little less because of the moment, the focus on the speaking part was getting disturbed. Because all the time you were talking, you have to use the stage, but be conscious of how you are using it. A big moment during the speech is good, but while speaking, if you continue walking, then I was getting distracted because of it. And in between the speech, when the interesting part was coming, you started smiling a little. I think because of it was because you are focusing on someone and they might be smiling. So keep the eye contact in a to and from motion, so that you don't get focused on a single person and you don't get thoughts and focus on the face expressions of that person. And can work a bit on the grammar part. I find some mistakes there, and I will cover more in the grammarian report of that. The speech was very confident, and as a first time speaker, as the first timer on the stage, I did not assume that you will perform that well. And I took 2 points from your speech that I personally liked. And first one was action-oriented story. Like you discussed how you are offering free service to the slum area and how that is creating an impact in the society. And second is your presence of mind. You indulged that today's International Father's Day in the closing of your speech. So it was very interesting. That's it.
Thank you so much. For Mona's evaluation, I want to call upon a new, energetic, vibrant member who has been active and is actively playing the role of Toastmasters in our session. Let us welcome Toastmaster Ravi.
Now I'm feeling a little bit pressurized because I have to be energetic. Okay, Mona, today you were faced with the conundrum of facing the huge audience today, and I think you solved it greatly. Your speech today was short and crisp up to the time. It was a good start. You had a nice flow. You started with where you come from. You showed some of the challenges that you had to face, and then the transition part. How were you able to solve all the conundrums that you faced multiple times in different phases of your life? Your speech has had good confidence, and you showed good courage. Hand gestures were there. I was able to identify some of the hand gestures, and then you were able to move a little bit around this area. I think if you may want to improve further, you can start by preparing the speech as per the given time, which you can find easily on the on your profile, I think as per your level and project, that will help you. Some of the eye contacts were there, but it can be improved. I think last time I learned from Karuna that you can use the W form, that you can start from here and like this, and then again in the W form. I think that will be a good way to start how to keep moving the eye contact. And yeah, I think that was all from my side. So yeah, all the best for your next levels and
Thank you. Okay, so now to evaluate Nitesh, I'm going to call upon someone who is very detailed in his analysis of a speech, and it will be, I'm really looking forward to hear from him because when he evaluates me, I learn a lot. So let us welcome this master Utpal.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana, for your kind words. I hope I won't get to it next time. So, Toastmaster Nitish, your speech was to constructive, well-defined speech and presented speech in a well-organized format. Your starting was very on point and accurate, as in you started with what is the key to success. Do you know that itself brought the whole crowd to your attention, and you could deliver your speech with utmost confidence. Your speech reflected some deep inclination towards religion or spirituality, which I feel will keep you in a good state in whatever conundrum that you face in your life. Being an atheist myself, it was a bit informational for me that I got to learn the key ingredient to success. Like in circuit, you can achieve success by willpower. In theatre, you can achieve success through mantra. Like that, I got to learn a lot. Coming back to your main core point that you have emphasized upon, it is the unity. So, if you could have been more detailed and informational, to elaborate your point more further, as in you could have used an example to illustrate your point and how important is unity for a success of our people as a country or as a group, as a Toastmaster group. If you could have picked up some one or two incidents and illustrated it, then it could have made your speech tenfold much impactful. As of now, your speech had, out of all the speeches that I have heard, your speech had more meaning and more context in that light. But some pointers that I must suggest that you can incorporate in your further coming speeches is to build your vocabulary. Sometimes, see, each speaker has his own journey. Like in my case, I can draft very good English. I'm very good in written English, but when it comes to the spoken English, that's where my struggle is. So my struggle is that from transitioning to the written to spoken English. You also have to identify your some of your weakness, and then you have to work on it. I feel one of that is your vocabulary. Other is owning the stage. Be more open. As I am saying yourself, I am also trying to incorporate myself. Other than that, I feel of all the speeches, yours was the most impactful and most resounding that I have heard. Thank you.
Last but not least, evaluator for Village, our club president, and a very vibrant person himself. Looking forward to hearing his comments.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. So the purpose for Toastmaster Village speech was to give a speech and to share some aspect of his or her primary speech, leadership styles, and discuss leadership styles in general. And what a take by Toastmaster Village today. It was a fresh take on the leadership styles. I have never thought that for a leader, it's important to think about love and the degree he or she is in the life or in the society, and also definitely to learn about their styles. Toastmaster Village, a great opening, a vibrant opening. You were full of confidence. Also, you asked a question from the public, and when you ask questions from the public, you engage them. You make them a part of your story, and that goes to you for that. The delivery of yours kept everybody glued on the stage. I will like to commend you, but also have some recommendations there. We'll come to that later. And definitely, it was a refreshing take on the leadership side. Toastmaster David showed us that for a leader, it's always good to look inside ourselves and contemplate that are we handling people with love? Are we handling people with their dignity in the society and our dignity in the society? And also, do we know our style? And like this is our textbook. You can even write a textbook on it if you have written this content. But having said that, there is one point when I said about the delivery of your speech. Definitely it kept it glued, but it was more like an F1 racing. And our speeches are not like an F1 racing. Closest in, if I have to put up any sport which is closest to the Toastmaster speech or any public speech, would be tennis. When we play tennis, sometimes we play not very fast shot. Sometimes we take shots very quickly. So our speech should be balanced between your pace. So your pace is constant. So I request you to please manage your pace. Take a breath after each paragraph or after each sentence, and you can slow down your pace at places you want to slow down. While you were talking about your sister, you would have said that I have a sister and I really love her. And when I go to her for any problem, she helps me. Instead, you said, I have a sister, I go to her for love, and she loves me, she takes care of me. So when you use the pace, it helps people to engage more. Secondly, your hand gestures. There is a recommendation here. Your hands were glued to your torso. So your limitation to your hand gestures was this much. So you need to put them in, or either you can do it in this way. Your movement of your hands was perfect, but not of your arms. So I believe that you can remove it from your torso, and it will give you more depth in your hand gestures. Secondly, you were also glued on this side. While you were talking about, a simple example is you were talking about love, you talked about then the degree, and lastly you talked about your style. So you could have done this way while you were talking about love, you would be at this style. Then you move to your degree, you can come to this style. And when you move to your style, you come to this style. It's a simple movement, but it gives a transition in your speech. Having said that, you had great opening that I said, the body of your speech was perfect, and the conclusion was skills. And you were able to complete the objective of your speech. But with the right pauses, I will give you this as a challenge, that please bring in the right pauses in your speech, and you will be a far better speaker than you are. Over to you, General Manager.
So we have the time ready. Prince?
Yes, sir.
So let us welcome Prince. He will share the timing of the evaluators, after which I request you all to kindly vote for the best evaluator. Please welcome. I said in the beginning, it is about how we have adapted to this session, and then coming to the speech evaluation and the evaluators' evaluations. Okay, so we started 10 minutes late, and let us try that we don't make it a recurring habit. Instead, and this is something where you have to cry over this building. We have to be effective, whether it is about the timing, and whether it is about the evaluations. We are all here to improve ourselves. So whatever has been shared as an evaluation feedback, whether it is positive, whether it is developmental, please take it in the right spirit. I am also going to share certain points. But that the essence of being here is that we learn from each other. None of us are perfect. So to make it effective, we have to try out the spirit. Okay. Next, Divesh, thank you for Toastmaster Divesh, thank you for taking over as the SAA. I have only one suggestion, that if you know a few minutes before that if you have to take on a role, try not reading it from the phone, because if a person is experienced in the club, then he or she can pick up things on their own, right? Or maybe hand it over to somebody else. Coming to Toastmaster Sunil, I think it was very interesting how you explained Murphy's Law. I may have read it ages ago, but it's a good reminder. I have nothing to do with physics whatsoever, but yeah, it's a good reminder. It was worth a learning. You encouraged other members to share their experiences. So even if a person did not have a chance to come here and talk, they could share their experience and others could learn from each other. While Toastmaster Pratik stepped out for a while, he had to play a role. You showed your presence of mind and you brought back that Murphy concept to again engage the public, which I felt was a very good thing to do instead of just standing or let people indulge in chit-chat. Okay, just one thing, Toastmaster Pratik, you said my phone died. You could have just said my phone needs to be on silent. Phone died, sorry. And the other point is our phones need to be on silent, as was mentioned by Toastmaster Pratik. Coming to the speakers, just one suggestion at the very beginning would be that kindly watch your videos, because this is all going to be on YouTube. Toastmaster Sachin will be sharing it in a day or two. So kindly see that, because you'll be able to match your evaluations and also have your own assessment. Coming to Mamta, and I'm going to share only over and above what has been shared by your evaluators. So Toastmaster Mamta, very positive speech from your end, very positive outlook. You have very good potential, I strongly believe, with your smiling face and confidence that you exude on the stage, and you have a very good sense of humor as well, which I believe most of you all here have, and I have here. You used a lot of vocal variety, which is good. Your address started with dear Toastmasters. There were also guests, so kindly keep that also in mind to address the guests. Practice a bit more on the grammar. Okay. For example, you mentioned something like gone through the comments or something. Instead you could say I went through the comments. You said something like I distribute foods to slums. Food to slums is fine. So there was things like that which you could observe and see where the grammatical corrections need to be made. Okay, maybe it was your first speech, therefore there may have been a bit of nervousness which definitely was not showing. But I could sense, for example, you said, let me take you to my childhood. So because either you were trying to recall or you were trying to gather that energy from inside, but I could sense it, I could be wrong, but that is my suggestion, that don't make it feel natural, make it look natural when you are on stage. The nutshell here is to avoid letting others notice your pauses. Okay. The other general point is that the evaluation forms needs to be shared. Let us make it a habit, guys. Nothing is compulsory here, but let us try doing that. It is for our own good. Secondly, there needs to be a speech title. So if you have looked at the Toastmaster tutorials, there are project guides, there are evaluation guidelines. If you have gone through it, there should not be any misunderstanding as to whether there should be a speech title or not, whether there should be a purpose or not, what is the level, what is the pathway, right? So the recommendation here is that let us try go through those so that at least a day or two before the meeting, we have those things with the TMOD or the evaluators respectively. And also your introductions. It would be good to give your introductions to the Toastmaster of the day. I mean to say you can share it over WhatsApp. Okay, coming to Mona, I think I've mentioned about the speech title, but very daring that it was just your maiden speech that you gave here, and you could really carry it through the entire length that was available to you. And you spoke well, it's not like you were repeating topics. You were talking about your life journey, where you lack to where you want to get to. You spoke about something which I mentioned about I think really what I want to say is that you spoke about your challenges in terms of what you want to be as a good speaker, and which came out very clearly in your speech. I just felt that somewhere you were looking up while talking, so you were perhaps thinking in your mind, and that is something which you can work at and try and maintain equal eye contact, like how Toastmaster just mentioned. Okay. Coming to Toastmaster Nitesh, I think very confident in your speaking, very good practice. Interesting topic as well, and people has shared much about it. There were certain times when you were looking down, so you could try to avoid that. Because again, it's like the process of thinking. I have also done that, and I do that even now. Maybe practice will help. There were certain things like you mentioned children's. Children, statistics was you mentioned as static. So I think your written speech, because I read it, I know that it was written correctly, but it's just the pronunciation. A general point is for all to work on the accent, because most of the times so for example, for is the word like last time also I mentioned, the accent generally goes like 4. And that is only a regional accent. There is nothing wrong in it, but if we want to improve our speech as a public speaker on the international stage, then let us try and work on it. And the more you practice, the more you watch other videos, the more you will learn. So I am going to just keep it at that, and you can assess it at your own level. Okay, coming to Dinesh, again, a very interesting speech, and Pradeep has already spoken about your topic. Your pitch is good, but I would say that there needs to be more variety, and your pace is consistent. So there needs to be a bit of modulation. Okay, you emoted saying okay 1, 2, 3, but there are things like somebody said this and somebody said that. So it's like, see, we are here on a stage where we're talking to a public, not to a person like this. So that, and then there's a constant repeat of what we say. My challenge to you is to give a speech every Sunday from now onwards, so that we can overcome this together. Okay, I think the rest Pradeep has already mentioned. The best part of today's session has been the evaluations, because they were not goody-goody. They were all rational, each of them in their evaluations. All of you have a very good sense of humor. So you bring in that element while giving your speeches is something which I need to learn upon. Very in-depth speech from both evaluation, from both Toastmaster Sajid and Toastmaster Pradeep. Toastmaster Utpal, you gave very insightful ideas for fusing examples. You also mentioned about your challenge from written to verbal, which is a challenge which most of us face, and it was very relevant in this case, I felt. So, a great demonstration of what is needed here, I felt. Toastmaster Pratik very well summarized purpose. I would say that was the highlight. You demonstrated certain ideas as to how the speech needs to be conducted. The only thing I felt is that you were rushing a bit, and a bit of slowness there would be helpful. Coming to the tag team, just few comments. Guest Prince, I think you did a good job as a timer. But I hope you can do better. Try to take up the role more often so that you get better at it. Okay. Just two things. One, you put your hands in your pocket in the beginning, which you can avoid. I think so. In my opinion, it can be avoided. Secondly, there's no Mr. here. Either it's a Toastmaster or a guest. I'm also trying to practice calling Toastmaster or guest to people. Okay, so there's no Mr. I think our count of Toastmaster Pratik, you covered all the points. From Indian Toastmaster Sachin, I think presence of mind is you've captured everything right in the state. Sangeeta gave her Toastmaster Sangeeta gave her comments, and also the one good thing that I like about you is whenever you have to give an evaluation or an assessment, you say these are in my view, because no one is perfect. So he's saying what he's saying in his view, and I believe that is a wonderful thing to do. So with that, I come to the end of this session, and I hope the challenges are taken, and we will meet next time. And then with that, I hand it over to Presiding Officer Toastmaster.